Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone, to tonight's special Sip and Chat with T. Lynn. Listen, it is a phenomenal week. It is the week that we focus intentionally on being grateful and thankful, right? So we're going to coin today Grateful Tuesday or Thankful Tuesday. Let's go with Thankful Tuesday. And tonight I am thankful to be able to come before you guys with my special guest. Listen, she is one of my good friends, my good sisters. And I'm so happy to have her with me tonight. She has her own segment that she calls Crystal Clear Convos. And baby, let me tell you, it's crystal clear, honey. We're in there talking some real stuff. She has no cut cards, okay? And she talks about the things that you're thinking, but just not saying out loud, okay? But I am so super excited to have her with me tonight. And before I bring her on, you guys know what I encourage you to do. Make sure that you share, like, and love, okay? Sharing is caring. Someone tonight needs to hear this conversation. It's going to be a blessing and it's going to be entertainment. And I'm going to tell y'all, I don't even know exactly what we're talking about tonight or what we're getting into, but I'm going to tell you it's good, all right? Go ahead and share and engage with us tonight. Come on and comment, join this conversation as I bring in tonight one of my favorite people. Yeah, I say it every week. So what? She's one of my favorite people. It's Miss Crystal Smith of Crystal Clear Conversation.
Yeah.
Welcome, honey. How are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic.
That's awesome. Awesome for a Tuesday. It's a short work week for us. Holiday, like Thanksgiving coming up. We thankful.
Listen, if you ain't thankful for nothing else, you're gonna be thankful for that. How about that?
Right.
Yeah. So it is a sip and chat. So let's get into what are you enjoying as your beverage of choice tonight?
Well, because I always keep it crystal clear. Don't try to joke me. I got this tea over here, but it's not just any tea, y'all.
Oh.
This is skinny tea.
Skinny tea.
Like,
wait now.
Flat belly tea.
That sounds
like a detox tea.
Listen, that sounds like a tea that's gonna keep you busy contemplating life for a little bit.
Right, it will give me time to think later on. It'll give me some time to think.
I love it. Well, listen, I'm enjoying some good old nice cold water because I feel the need to hydrate. So that's what I'm sipping on tonight.
Awesome.
But listen, let's get on into this. So we all know that Sip and Chat with T. Lynn is an extension of Recognizing the Real Me, which is my blog. So everybody go subscribe to recognizingtherealme.com. Check us out over there where we literally focus on giving wisdom and telling our truths and our journey to authenticity. And so since you are the author of Crystal Clear Crystal Clear Convos, I thought that you would be a great person to sit down and chat with about your journey to being your authentic self. So,
yes. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah. So tell me, what inspired you to start Crystal Clear Convos?
That's a good question. Because I really started off like, nobody really wants to hear what I have to say. Nobody really wants to hear what Crystal has to say. And it was really about trying to find what my purpose was in life, what I'm really supposed to be doing in life. And when I finally narrowed it down, I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be talking. I'm supposed to have a message. I'm supposed to be doing something related to talking. And I didn't want to come across like, okay, I'm going to be like a pastor or evangelist or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I felt like I had a message. I had a word. and I had my own unique way of doing it. And if you've ever been walking around the house and you were just kind of like, I wonder if anybody else ever thought about X, Y, and Z. Well, I don't really hear people talking about X, Y, and Z. Like they may have a formal summary or write up. They may have something that you can Google on Miss Google, like my mom says. But is it anybody just up there flat footed talking about it, right?
Right.
And so then I was like, well, people may not really even want to hear what I have to say, but if this is what my purpose is, my calling, what I'm supposed to be doing, then I have to figure out a way to get it done.
Right.
So it was kind of like, okay, I'm going to do this platform called Crystal Clear Convos, and we can talk about anything. It may be a 2-minute video where I'm talking about something that inspired me as I was walking. It may be a 10-minute video where I'm talking about this sudden hot flash that I just had. Ladies 40 and up, are y'all feeling a little warm around the collar? What's going on?
Listen.
Or it may be a whole 30-minute conversation about something else. So they're meant to be really, my whole tagline is kind of like transparent conversations that inspire change. And all of them may be.
I was going to say, and that's exactly what they are. Like they're very transparent. They're those things, like you said, that someone else may be thinking, but just ain't fully delved into. Like they might touch it, they might dip their toe in the water, but no, you go in. And I be saying this sometimes, like I said, Crystal.
Girl, we were talking about sex a couple weeks ago, and just like sex and how God designed sex to be in the institution of marriage, and that it should be fun and exciting. And a lot of church people have just been so taught to cover up and taught to do this and do that, that they're not truly able to enjoy it. And when people get married, they're newlyweds, they're walking around with flannel pajamas on, still covered up. They don't really know how to enjoy the experience because everything that they have been taught, you know, they're kind of naive when it comes to that, and that it is supposed to be enjoyable. And no, in the church platform, we don't really talk about it. And so it kind of developed from Crystal Clear Convos, where I wasn't really, I said I was going to develop a schedule to do it. Once a week, I'm going to post something. And then I'm going to try to post little motivational things throughout the week, you know, memes or whatever. And I wasn't doing it. Like, I wasn't doing it. I didn't have any type of accountability. So it was easy to make an excuse. Oh, I can't do it because my hair is not done, or I got a big zit on my face, or this is going on, I'm too busy. And then through my church platform, my pastor was like, look, I want to do something called Grown Folks Vibe. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I already do something called Crystal Clear Convos. You know, I could kind of, Crystal Clear Convos could be the host of that, you know. So the church platform, Grown Folks Vibe, is slightly different. I'm still able to talk about, you know, topics. They give me the freedom to talk about certain topics, but try to relate it to the word. We don't want it to be like Bible study per se, but it's just adult conversations, you know, that people have. Whereas Crystal Clear Convos, we might talk about random stuff, like just whatever. It could be whatever topic. The church platform, we kind of keep it with some type of, you know, structure, whatever. But it afforded me the opportunity to become consistent with what I felt God was shifting me into. So if he's trying to shift me into this purpose and I keep making excuses as to why I can't do it and can't move forward and can't get into it, then the pastor was like, no, I need you to do this every Thursday. I need you to be consistent, you know, and it's a form of accountability.
Yeah, and you help you that discipline. Yeah, so you were able to form that discipline that you needed. Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's real talk though, because even with Sip and Chat, sometimes in the beginning it was rough. So I relate to that because you weren't used to doing it. I wasn't used to doing it. And so then to come on, there were a few times when I rescheduled people that I'm like, oh, I had a very hectic day. And so I couldn't do it tonight. But then as I got in, I had to shake it off. Actually, my husband was like, you know, no, you can't reschedule this one. Like, you're going to have to shake it off. You're going to have to get up. You're going to have to move. And I said, okay.
Right.
But in doing that, it helped with the consistency, and it's been helping to make sure that I stay on task. So you're right, accountability is definitely needed because it's out of the norm. When you're first called to do this, first of all, it's uncomfortable, right? Because you're on here, and then the things, sometimes the downloads that God gives you to talk about,
my goodness. I'm like, Lord, I don't want to talk about that.
You want me to talk about what?
Right.
Yeah. So I totally get it. But how has, we talked about this a little bit earlier, and that is, how has crystal clear convos really helped you discover your authentic self? Like, how has that driven you? Because I'm sure the topics that you're talking about, which I know for me, when I'm coaching people, when I'm talking to people, it's usually stuff that I'm either still struggling with and having to work my way through it, which makes me really have to give sound advice. I'm not just talking to you because I'm telling you something I don't know. I'm really going through it. So I'm pretty sure the topics that you're covering, you're discovering yourself too. So how has Crystal Clear Convos been helping you to really delve and dig into your authentic self and your authentic path?
Wow. So that is such a loaded question. And like, I could just go so many different ways with it. First, I want to give a shout out. I got on my authentic shirt.
Yes, I like it.
My girlfriend makes those. Her name is Kia Ward. You can send her a KIA Ward, WARD. She has an authentic line. And I just thought it was perfect for this conversation. You know, we got to support each other.
Absolutely.
But there's so much to that question. So discovering my authentic self, who is authenticity, being authentic, what does it really mean? It's like the genuine part, who we really are, right? And not to say, oh, you know, if somebody's not agreeing with you or you do something, your personality is a certain way, and a lot of people just say, well, this is just who I am. This is just how I am. I'm just this way. But becoming your authentic self sometimes comes with growth and development. And sometimes you have to step back and realize that just because you've been this way for the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, doesn't mean that is the authentic you. That's just how you're chosen to operate. And I really unpack authenticity with purpose. Like, what is your true purpose? What were you put here to do? What is your true assignment? And operating without purpose in life can literally drive someone crazy. When you have a feeling that you're worthless, that you have no value, that you have nothing else to add in this world or in this life, people get caught up in the routine of getting up every morning, you know, doing that slow drag to the shower, to get dressed, to go to a job that they hate for 8 to 10 hours, to commute home in traffic, to spend minimum amount of time with their families, to get up and do it all again the next morning. And we do that for years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And in that, a lot of people never are able to discover what their true purpose is. They just walk around mechanically in this routine. And not knowing who you are or feeling as though you have no value can literally drive people to suicide. Like, I was watching the first interview that Tamar Braxton did, and she was pretty much like, I just felt like I had no purpose, and she couldn't do what she really wanted to do. And that took it was a combination of other things. That wasn't the only reason, but just being alive and feeling as though you have nowhere to fit in and you have no purpose can be miserable. So when I finally figured out what my purpose was, which is to have this unique platform, this Crystal Clear Convo, to be able to inspire and motivate change in people's lives, hopefully, through my messaging, my unique messaging, it has helped me see that who I was living for so many years, 40 years, what was not the real authentic me.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people do that because they may be ashamed of what their assignment is. They may be afraid. A lot of people don't operate in their purpose and their true authenticity because they are afraid of whatever, afraid to fail, afraid to look bad, afraid to make a mistake. Maybe they're a perfectionist. So there's so many things and reasons why people will not move forward to figure out who they really are.
Right, say, hold on, I'm gonna put a pin right there.
Please.
And then there is the people pleasing, because you're constantly trying to fit into the box that other people have tried to put you in, and you feel like in order for you to be loved, in order for you to, really be able to get the center of it, it's just that, to be loved. In order for you to be able to be loved and accepted, you have to fit into this box that other people want you to be, and that keeps people bound for years.
It does. It'll keep you bound. A lot of it for me, because I grew up as a church girl, and then I went off to college and became this party girl, and I liked the party girl life. Like, I loved that. I loved, the camaraderie that came with it and the popularity that came with it. So now that I'm back to my church girl, which I have no problem with now, but for so many years I was like, I love Jesus and everything, but I'm not trying to be on no platform Bible thumping, that's just not my style. But really, like, a lot of times people are searching for something. And with my unique way of delivering things, hopefully I can help relay that message in a way that the person in the pulpit with the sha-na-na can't deliver it. Because we all have our own unique way of doing things, Another thing that people try to do is they are more concerned about monetary gain. Like, what can I get? I got to get the bag. I got to get the paper. I got to get the money. When your calling might be right here with these 7 subscribers, Crystal. Like, 7 people might be watching. That's it.
Yes.
But if God is telling you, if that is what your purpose and your calling and your true authentic self is, if you're supposed to be in front of this camera with 7 people, then those 7 people are the people that you're supposed to touch. And I was so wrapped up, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be this huge real estate mogul. I'm getting ready to run it. I'm gonna be a boss lady. I'm gonna do this and that and blah, blah, blah. And while I did okay with real estate on the side, that wasn't what my true purpose was. So I'm out here trying to be a fraud, right?
Yes.
But pretty much that's been kind of my journey. And every time I do crystal clear convo, or I post something and somebody hits me back and says, you just don't know how much that helped me. Like, I did one crystal clear convo called Pedophile in the Pulpit and the Pew. And basically talking about how people in the church end up getting molested. And, there's so many different things that happen in that church front. And it just damages people for life. And it's deep, dark secrets that they have to live with, and suffer through. And
I was going to say, and that's the other thing with that too. That's another conversation that's not had and not talked about too often. And when it is talked about, it's talked about on the platforms outside of the platform it needs to be talked about on.
Correct. That's so true.
You know what I mean?
It's happening in the church, but they don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk about it in the church. Yes. And then you end up having people that walk away wounded because we won't have those necessary conversations.
So true. So true. And so from that particular convo, I had several people, like, whether they sent me a Facebook message or a text message, and they were like, thank you so much for being transparent. Thank you so much for having that conversation, because you just don't know. I've been through X, Y, and Z. We had one on resentment. We had one on deep, dark secrets. And I get feedback sometimes from people that says that was so helpful. Thank you so much for talking about that and addressing it and bringing it to the forefront. So it is helping me grow and discover who I am and who I am supposed to be. As well as feeling like I'm still serving the purpose of helping other people through messaging.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that. And I knew, and that's why I had to bring that up, because like I said, when you're walking in your path, it's not just whatever you're going through or whatever your message is usually not just for the people. It's for you
Yeah.
too.
So
And
true.
you do end up growing in the process, because sometimes you end up talking on things that you didn't even realize still bothered you, or you didn't even realize was there at all. And
Correct.
so it gives you an opportunity to grow. But more importantly, something you said earlier, and I love to drive this home, it is so crucial to discover who you are and what your authentic path is, because living in bondage, it is bondage to be
So
walking around like someone else,
miserable.
even if it's you don't even if it's the thing to where you didn't even realize that you weren't being authentic, you were busy living somewhere else. There is so much freedom in discovering who you are authentically and walking in that path. And you're right, even if it is for the 7 subscribers you may currently
Right.
have, you
Yes.
know, that is what you're supposed to walk out. Sometimes we miss that. One of the things someone said to me many years ago was and actually it wasn't even that someone said it to me. It was in addition to, I was teaching some classes at my job. It was a free class that you could take. And I was teaching, as a matter of fact, it was Bible study. It was a women's Bible study. And
Mhm.
people wanted this class,
Mhm.
but nobody showed up. But
Wow.
what I remember God saying to me is, even on the days when people didn't show up, I didn't have the option to say, I'm not going there today because nobody showed up last week.
Right.
I still had to show up. And even when it was just one person in the room or
Yeah.
2 people, I still had to show up, because those 2 people that showed up, they needed it. And
Yeah.
when somebody else didn't show up, I sat there and I went ahead and I retaught whatever I was going to teach to myself and said, what can I learn? But I
Right.
had to be consistent in doing that, because the lesson in that is that sometimes you're not going to have a big crowd. Sometimes you're not going to have a lot of people. And I hope this is helping somebody. If your authentic lane has you somewhere where you're like, it seems like nobody supports me, or it's only 1 or 2 people, stick at that thing. Because at the end of the day, that those 1 or 2 people that show up, that is for them. You still have to be on assignment for the person that it's for, even when it's uncomfortable for you, and even when it seems like nobody is listening.
Right.
Even tonight, we may have, I think it says right now, we have 4 people watching that's actually being calculated as watching. But that's not stopping the fact that there are 4 people on here that are engaged and
Right.
are getting what they need for where they are right now.
So
We
true.
still have to go on. You know what I mean?
And
It's,
another important point to that is it is really about walking in obedience.
mm-hmm.
And the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and then all the things will be added.
Yes.
And I found that, once I stopped focusing on, I got to get this money, I got to work harder, I got to do this, I got to do that. And I really shifted my focus to listen to what God was trying to guide me into,
Mm-hmm.
and really start focusing on, okay, I'm going to really move my attention over here to, what God is trying to tell me that he wants for me to do. Because a lot of times when people are searching for their purpose, because everybody may not know what their purpose is to be their true authentic self. When
Yes.
you're searching for it, a lot of times there's a lot of frustration. And there's a lot of things that we want to do that we try to replace with, oh, this is my purpose, this is my calling, when in all actuality, it's not.
It is not. Yeah.
But being able to, there's answers in obedience. There's answers in obedience. So once you become obedient, God can reveal to you what you have and what skills you have, what you're really good at. Just sitting down and taking a snapshot of, oh, I could do this with my eyes closed, or I'm really good at this and just need some fine tuning, And so being able to discover that, and like you said, being consistent at it no matter what.
No matter what.
A monetary gain associated with it at the time, just moving forward in that purpose. And God will open doors, and he will give you divine connections, and he will strategically place you around people and put you in positions that will open doors, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is mind blowing. I never thought in 1,000 years that I would. And I personally can attest to that, because it was like as soon as, and not like the next day, but over the past year, the past couple of years, just in me submitting and operating in obedience to try to be my true authentic self, who God created me to be, the true genuine person that God created me to be, I have seen so much change. And I mean, it's been like, it blows my mind sometimes. I was sitting here today, like I was listening to somebody preach the other day, and I was like, what are you asking God for? And God will do it. And I was just like, wow, I'm really in a place where I don't feel like I have to ask God for anything more. If he never blessed me with anything else, I feel truly blessed and happy in the place that I'm in right now. So that's a lot of it too, just not trying to operate in what we necessarily want to do, because if it's something that you want to do, God will allow you sometime. Okay, you can do real estate as a hobby, but what I really need you to do is get this message out about me,
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of where I was at.
Yeah. So one thing that I'm going to come back and get. So I make it no secret. For me, God is my center. And this is for everyone that is watching. And when I say he's my center, it means that, I look to God for guidance, and I believe in a higher being than me. I believe in God. I'm not telling you that you have to believe in God. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's what works for me. But if you want to try what works for me,
okay.
If you want to try what works for me, then I'm going to tell you my relationship with God is essential in my life. And one of the things that has helped me in my journey of discovering myself and understand that what you may be doing now, as you continue to grow and develop, there are different layers and different levels that come along with it. And so, you may start on a path, and then there's adjustments that may be made, and where you thought you were going, you may be redirected. So you have to be flexible sometimes with the movement of God in your life. But for me, one essential prayer that helped me with really getting on the path of discovering who God created me to be and what I was purposed to do was simply just asking God, what is it that you would have me to do?
There you go.
Right. What is it that you would have me to do? And what have you created me to do?
Exactly.
Who have you created me to be? Like, you have to ask those questions. And in me doing that, it has been a journey of discovery. And it led me on a path, and literally one thing led me to another, which led me to another. It was like steps. And so one of my favorite quotes, and I say this for anybody that's like, well, T and Crystal, that's all sounds all well and good. But I'm like at the very beginning. Listen, the very beginning is ask God, what did you create me to be? My favorite quote is from one that I heard from Dr. Martin Luther King, and that is, take the first step, even if you can't see the rest of the staircase.
Yeah. I like that one too.
Take the first step.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. The first step is just simply to ask God, okay, who am I authentically, and what is it that you've created me to do? And most importantly, what should I be doing right now? Because sometimes you can't handle the whole picture. So sometimes you just got to start with the first step that says, let's start here. This is what I want you to do right now. And then as you go on, the rest of this staircase will be revealed to you. But I encourage you today, if you have not discovered who you are authentically, and we're still learning, because again, there are still levels and still layers to who we are. Sometimes we can't handle the full picture, but start today by simply just asking God, what did you create me to do, and what should I be doing right now? Start with that. What should I be doing right now?
Absolutely. I think that's so important too, because it happens at different phases for different people. Yeah. So you might have somebody that's fresh out of college that wants to know, well, authentically who I am, who am I, and what should I be doing, right? But then you might have the person that has been married for 25, 30 years, and they're used to having a house full of people, but then maybe they go through a divorce or their husband passes away and the two children go away to college and they go from a house of 5, 6 people to an empty house.
Yeah.
So that is empty nest syndrome. And for years, they poured into their family. They poured into being a wife. They poured into being a mother. And now they just feel like they have no purpose, right?
Yeah.
Or what about the person that just retired? They've been in the school system, been a teacher or whatever for the last 30 years. And all they know is teaching. And so now they're entering this chapter of retirement and they're kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Like, I've taught and I don't really want to teach anymore, but what am I supposed to do now? And then maybe it's an elderly person that's like 70, 75. And it's like, okay, God, I'm sitting here, you haven't called me home yet, but what else do you have for me to do? Because as long as we're here, we have an opportunity and a purpose for being here. And so it's important to continue to ask God, if you haven't discovered that, to ask God what your purpose is, and give you vision, insight, creativity, whatever it is, because God has already placed everything in us that we need to be able to do and produce what we're supposed to produce. So if God planted a seed, if God planted the seed, or whoever planted the seed for a peach tree, that peach tree is going to grow. That seed already has everything in it that it needs to become a peach tree. So whatever your purpose is, you already have everything in you that you need. Not to say that you don't need to refine it or work on it, practice it, fine tune it.
Yes.
You still have to do those things, but innately, God has placed in you all the tools that you need to be successful in whatever it is that your purpose is.
Yes. That's a good word. That's a good word right there. Yes. Listen, it has been such a pleasure talking with you tonight. For those of you who are just tuning in, it's my girl, Crystal Smith from Crystal Clear Convos. Listen, I want you guys to go out and support my sister. Make sure you've heard the conversation tonight. So imagine what more, like she said, Crystal Clear Conversation. You don't know what you're going to get. All topics are on the table.
Whatever y'all want to talk about.
They're on the table, right?
Absolutely.
To talk about. Make sure you guys go on over to YouTube and subscribe to her channel, Crystal Clear Convos. It's right there at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you guys check her out. I have certainly enjoyed chatting with you. I always enjoy chatting with you. I miss seeing your face. Oh my goodness. I have not seen you since March?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, but I'm so glad we were able to come together and chat tonight for sure. But before we go, I want you to share, even though you didn't drop the whole lot tonight, there's one more thing I want you to do, and that is if you could leave one thing with our viewers tonight, what piece of wisdom would you like to share with them?
Let's see. If I had one thing to share for tonight, girl, I have so many nuggets that I'm just like, if I had one thing to share, it would probably be chase your purpose. Whatever it is, chase it. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter what stage of life that you're in. Figure it out. Seek the Lord.
Yes.
And find out what your purpose is, because life will have new meaning, and you want to have a full, abundant, happy life.
Yeah.
And the only way we can really get to that abundant life, and I'm not talking about, I got all the money or all the wealth and richness, comes in so many different forms.
Come on.
And being able to know your purpose and find out who the true, authentic you is so fulfilling. So I would say continue to search and ask God what your purpose is, what He created you for, and move forward in that thing.
Yes, I love it. That's a good wisdom nugget to leave them with tonight. Listen, I told y'all we were going to have a great time tonight. So much has been discussed. Don't be selfish. Share this episode. There is someone in your family, your friends, or your network that needs to hear this word of encouragement to be their authentic selves. And guess what? Crystal and I don't know them, but you do. And the
Right.
only way they're going to get it is if you share. Be sure to share the love tonight, y'all. Crystal, I am so grateful for you. I cannot wait to be able to see you hug your neck.
Yes, I
Give
miss
you
you
some
so
love.
much. Thank you so much for having me on. I really, really appreciate you thinking about me and giving me the opportunity to be on your platform. I really appreciate it. And I hope that everyone will have a safe Thanksgiving. I know things are weird right now. So whether you're doing a virtual Thanksgiving gathering or in person, I hope everyone enjoys it and has a safe and wonderful holiday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so grateful for you. That's one thing I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for this platform. I'm grateful for you guys that are tuning in and watching each and every week. We could not make it and do it without you. Although I would have to keep pushing if you weren't here, but I
Right.
thank you for being here.
Right. Right.
But remember to be safe this holiday season because we are going in. This is our last episode for this year. We'll be back in January with more guests, more great topics and information on discovering your authentic self. But don't worry. In the event you missed some of the past sip and chats, we're going to replay some of them over the coming weeks so that you're still getting good information even while we're on break. But I thank you guys so much for all that you do. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We certainly appreciate you. Be safe, be well, and remember today is a great day to make a difference in the lives of those that are around you. I am Lynn Tate, and this has been Sip and Chat with Lynn. You all have a safe and wonderful night, and I will see you live in January. Have a good night, y'all.
Night.
Oh, I've so enjoyed you, dear.